Welcome back to This Is Not CBC.
All right, let's talk about what went down during the Carney budget vote. Because apparently some MPs think showing up to work is optional now. This morning, Shannon Stubbs posted a big fiery video online, slamming the Liberals, ripping apart the budget, warning Canadians about how dangerous it is. She made it sound like she was ready to go to war over this thing. Check out her video in case you missed it.
Hey, if you thought the Liberals' war on Canada's natural resources was bad enough, wait until you hear this. Last year, the Liberals passed Bill C-59 that rewrote the Competition Act to make it nearly impossible for businesses to speak about the environment unless they echo vague and undefined Liberal standards. Conservatives have been speaking out about this anti-development bill, and we've committed that we'll repeal it. But get this, that law gives the Liberals the power to slap huge fines on Canadian companies if they go against Liberal anti-energy talking points. So that means if a company dares to disobey the Liberals, imagine this, they could face a fine of up to $15 million or 3% of their total revenue. Imagine what kind of numbers those really are. And the scary truth is, executives and business leaders in Canada could also even face criminal charges. C-59 is a censorship law, full stop. And it's more of the same old Liberal pattern. Look, if you thought C-59 targeted sustainable, responsible, emissions-reducing Canadian oil and gas producers to stop them from talking about their world-leading environmental innovation, investments, and achievements that they do better than any oil and gas developers in the world, you're right. But the truth is, and the Liberals know it, this censorship law goes way beyond Canadian oil and gas. I've heard from business leaders and workers in forestry, in mining, and in the auto sector, which is getting especially hammered right now, despite Carney's big promises to protect Canadian auto jobs and workers, even from public utilities, who have all said they worry they'll be targeted next, and they've had to already change their public communications because of it. For example, Electricity Canada, that represents Canadian utility, transmission, and power providers in every single province and territory, says the regulations created unnecessary barriers to communicating industry efforts regarding investments in clean technologies. Let me say that again for you, and that's a quote from Electricity Canada's report. The Liberals' laws create, quote, unnecessary barriers to communicating industry efforts regarding investments in clean technologies. And of course, about 86% of the electricity grid across Canada right now is clean or non-emitting. But C-59 makes it so those providers can't even tell you that truth. Look, the Liberals say they want to make Canada an energy superpower. But they can't do that while they continue to threaten and target Canada's businesses, entrepreneurs, innovators, and workers in every part of Canada's world-leading, environmentally and socially responsible natural resources sector. That just doesn't add up. Because the reality is, how can you promote Canada's energy, resources, or innovation if you're not even allowed to talk about it? Now, only the Conservatives have committed that we will repeal C-59, and we will, as we've always done, defend your freedom of expression for people, for businesses, and for all Canadians.
Great, powerful words. Lots of passion, lots of outrage. Lots of this budget is catastrophic. And then, when it was time to actually vote, when her vote could have stopped this budget, when her vote could have forced an election and handed the decision back to Canadians, she abstained. She didn't vote. Shannon, seriously, why didn't you vote? Is it not your job to vote? Do your constituents not deserve representation? Do you think posting a dramatic video is the same as doing your job? Because, spoiler alert, it's not. Not even close. If you're going to go on camera and warn Canadians that this budget is dangerous, unaffordable, and will hurt families, then why would you sit it out when it mattered? And she wasn't the only one. Jeneroux abstained too. Yes, he's leaving Parliament in the spring. Yes, he's mentally checked out. But his salary hasn't. His responsibility hasn't. His duty to voters hasn't. And let's be clear, if Stubbs and Jeneroux had voted no, the budget would have failed. We'd be heading into an election. Canadians would have had a voice, a choice, a say in their future. Instead, 2 abstentions handed the government exactly what it wanted. And let's not pretend the NDP were any better. 2 of them abstained too. Everyone wants to scream on social media, but when it's time to do the one job they're elected to do, cast a vote, suddenly everyone's too busy. As a Canadian watching this, it's infuriating. You don't get to yell about how the budget will destroy the country in the morning, and then hit mute when it's time to make your vote count. You don't get to be a warrior online and a ghost in Parliament. So Shannon, why didn't you vote? Matt, why didn't you vote? Your constituents deserve real answers. You had one job, vote. And when Canada needed your vote most, you stepped back and let this budget pass. This is not CBC, because unlike Ottawa, we actually show up.